Good morning, students. Yesterday we learned a new topic, acid, bases, and salts, in the Zoom classes. And I hope all of you understand that topic. And what we learned yesterday is the complete overview of this chapter, acid, base, and salt. What we are going to learn from this chapter. And also, we started a topic called indicators, right? Indicators are classified into two types of indicators. One is natural indicators, another is synthetic indicators. Natural indicators obtained from nature itself, even it is in your home and you are using that. Sometimes your mother using that for cooking. For example, turmeric is one of the natural indicators. Beetroot is one other type of natural indicators. Even red cabbage is also another type of natural indicators that we are using in our home. So, some indicators are generally used in our home, and another is synthetic indicators, which is prepared in laboratories or artificially made, and they are synthetic indicators. And some of the examples are methyl orange and phenolphthalein. And this is what we learned yesterday in Zoom classes. And I'm just giving a short summary of what we learned yesterday. And also, not only that, we learned one more type of indicator called olfactory indicator. What are olfactory indicators? There are some substances whose odor changes in acidic or basic media. So when we add acid or a basic solution into some substances, their smell changes, and that type of indicators we are used as olfactory indicators. Okay, some examples are also given in your book. You can see from page number 19. Page number 19, you can see here vanilla, onion, and clove can also be used as an olfactory indicators. Okay, today what we are going to learn is we are going to learn about acids and also bases. Okay, what are acids? We may hear about acids in in lots of thing we learned about acids. Acids are consist of H plus ions, right? That's what we used to say. They all have H plus ions, and they produce lots of H plus ions, right? And they are strong, they are vigorous in reaction. But this is one part. But all the acids are not that much strong. You know that only few acids are strong in nature, and many acids are weak in nature. So we can classify acids into two criteria. One is dilute acids, another is concentrated acid. What are dilute acid? They have low concentration of acids in an aqueous solution. And what are concentrated acids? They have high concentration of acids in aqueous solution. Take an example. If I have a strong lots of H plus ion concentrated acids, okay, and you take an example. If I have um, uh, 1 spoon of sugar, I have 1 spoon of sugar, and I'm putting that 1 spoon of sugar in 1 tub of water. In other words, big one big jar or 1000 ml of water. I've added just 1 spoon of salt. So what happened? Do you think that the salt, that sugar is enough for, or it will be equally diffused, but will you taste any sugar taste in that? No, not that much. Very light. That means they have low concentrations of sugar which is present in 1000 ml of water, right? In other words, 1 liter of water. But if I take another the same 1 liter of beaker, and I have taken 1 liter of water in that, and if I had many salts, for example, 1 handful of salt in that. In other words, if I say in a tablespoon, I can say more than 10 to 15 spoons of salt, sugar in that. How you taste? You will taste very sweeter, right? That is what concentration. So here dilute, we find very low concentration of acids. That means very less amount of H plus ions present in that. It doesn't mean that they don't have H plus ions. They have, but not that much, very less. But when you talking about concentrated acids, they have enough amount of H plus ions, large amount of H plus ions present in that. So that is the difference between a dilute and the concentrated acids. Okay, let's move on to that. If it is a dilute acid, then it's going to be a weak acid. So what are weak acids and strong acids? Weak acids are the acid which do not completely dissociates into its ions in aqueous solution. So they won't dissociate properly. Like say an example of acetic acid and carbonic acid. But if you talk about strong acids, they acid which completely dissociate. In other words, completely mixed or completely gives out its H plus ions. For example, this weak acids give an example of acetic acid, carbonic acids, etc. And for strong acids, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid are some of the examples. Even the same I can say that weak acids are also said to be organic acids. Organic acids, where it is derived from living organism. It is used in your home as a lemon. We are using lemon, that is a citric acid which is present in that. Milk, lactic acid is present in that. Tamarind, we have a tartaric acid present in that. So the acid which is derived from the living organisms are all organic acids. And what are mineral acids? The mineral acids are also said to be an inorganic acids, and they all made by ourselves, like human beings, artificial acids. And all these inorganic acids are too corrosive, so you cannot handle just like that because they are violently reactive. And all the organic acids are weak and reactive. That is why we can eat lemon, just chew lemon or drink lemon juice by ourselves. Okay, this is the complete outline of an acid. Okay, let's see what are the common acids that we know. For example, hydrochloric acid, it's present in our stomach. Nitric acid, these are strong acids. Hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, and sulfuric acids are strong acids, right? Hydrochloric acid is present in our stomach and used for digestion. Nitric acid, main acid which is present in the fertilizers. Sulfuric acid, which is used for in the car batteries. Even in our home we use batteries as in the inverters, and one of the acid which is present in that battery is sulfuric acid. Okay, carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is present in soft drinks. Okay, and citric acid is present in the citrus fruit. Okay, this is the general outline of what are acids. And we need to know one more very important thing on acids: the dilution of an acid. How to dilute an acid? Take an example. If I have a beaker of water and I have a concentrated acid with me, concentrated acid full of strong acid, can I pour water into the acid or acid to the water? This is having lots of difference. The reason is, if I pour acid into the water slowly on the sides of the beaker, okay, already water is here, distilled water, and I am pouring the concentrated acid very slowly on the sides of the beaker and with constant stirring. Okay, I have to take a glass rod and stir constantly while pouring the concentrated acid to the distilled water. If I do so, it's very good, well and good. But in other word, if I take a concentrated acid, very strong acid, if I pour if I pour water on the acid itself, you have to be take care, because this is a more and more dangerous. This, you should not do that. Water on acid is not a good idea, or not a good thing, because it is really dangerous. Sometimes it splash out and it create lots of harmful for those who are mixing it. So always a safe thing is you have to dilute the acid. That means take an acid, concentrated acid, and pour it on the distilled water slowly by constant stirring. Right? Hope you all understand what is acids are. Okay, let's move on to what are basic. Okay, let's see about base. In base also we can classify them. If I want to say base itself, they have a definition. That means the solution that has excess amount of OH negative ions are said to be base. Okay, this is the old one. Okay, the old fashion of giving the definition. The solution that has excess of OH negative ions are the salt which contains of oxide or hydroxides, are all said to be basic. That's correct. I'm not talking about it is wrong, but it's an old one. Okay, let's see what is another definition of a base. The substance that accepts H plus ions, that is also a base. Okay, if I take an example of this, this is one neutralization reaction. Okay, what this base is doing, you can just look at it. If this is H plus and Cl minus hydrochloric acid, and sodium hydroxide Na plus and OH negative ions, and what this sodium will do, this is positive and they catch the negative. Okay, and it forms NaCl. And what about this hydroxide? You see what hydroxides are doing, they catch the H plus. Do you understand that? So it accepts the H plus ion and it forms H2O, right? So this is another definition of base, right? Same thing if I want to say about base. Base also have a strong base and weak base, and they also have a concentrated base and weak base. Okay, same like an acid. If I want to say about base, strong base are those which completely dissociates dissociates into ion in an aqueous solution, and that is called a strong base. Some examples of sodium hydroxide. But weak base, they doesn't, or in other words, they do not completely dissociates into ion in an aqueous solution. Okay, that is a weak base. So we'll be learning about this in the later classes. Okay, what are concentrated base and weak base? Concentrated base, as we talk about concentrated acid and weak acid, concentrated acids are, they have high concentration, right? Same like acid, base also have high concentration and low concentration. If the base which is having high concentration of base in an aqueous solution, and that is said to be a concentrated base. There is high amount of OH negative ions which is present in that base solution. Same like in the solution, if there is very less amount of OH negative ions will be there, then it is a weak base. Okay, let's move on to alkalis. Many will say that alkali is also a base. Yes, of course, but all bases are not alkalis. This is one of the very important questions. Mostly these questions are asked in 2-mark questions. Okay, all alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkalis. All alkalis are base, but all bases are not alkalis. Why? Okay, this type of questions are also asked. Water soluble bases are called alkalis. If a base like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide easily soluble in water, sodium hydroxide, when it is soluble in water, they gives Na plus and OH ions. That means easily dissolves in water, and they all say to be alkalis. But some alkalis or some bases, they won't soluble. For example, NH3 ammonia is also base. Actually, NH3 ammonia is a base, but it doesn't dissolve in water. Say what happened, ammonia, pour some water in that. So you know what is happening here. See, NH3 will be there. It takes one H plus. Now you understand that definition now. Substance that accept H plus. So it takes one H plus and form NH4 plus. Now you will understand it. NH3 is there and H plus OH, that is water. So it takes one H plus. So it become NH4 and OH negative ion, that is NH4OH. This, can you understand that this ammonia is a base actually, but it does not dissolve in water, and that is why ammonia is not an alkali, but it is a base. Right? Right. Let's see some common bases. The common base that we are using in a day-to-day life, example like aluminum hydroxide, it can be used in antacid as well as in deodorants. So, and that is aluminum hydroxide, it's a base. Ammonium hydroxide used as a glass cleaner. Even still we are using to clean the glasses, so that is ammonium hydroxide. And calcium hydroxide, it is used in a plasters, mortars, etc. Magnesium hydroxide, antacid, the main thing, 7th standard syllabus, right? And sodium hydrogen carbonate used in baking soda, sodium hydroxide as a drain cleaner. So all these are some of the common base that we are using in our day-to-day life. Okay, till now we learned the basics, the simple way of understanding acids and bases. So we learned only the topic acid and base in a detailed way, but now we are going to learn how do acids and bases react with metal, how they both react with metals. Okay, there is an activity given in your book, page number 19. You can look at this activity. So you can read each and every points which is given in the activity so that you will understand more on it. Okay, there is a stand there and a stand is kept, and there is a test tube which is clamped here with a one hole rubber cock, and the delivery tube which is passed into the soap solution. Okay, this is the setup, and what we have kept inside is the they put some zinc metal, and also they added some acid in that. Okay, what acid they have added? Sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid, and zinc granules are added in that. Immediately you can see there are bubbles are coming out, and these are hydrogen gas, and it passes into this soap solution. Why they have kept soap solution? Because soap solution you can easily identify the gas which is coming out. And how can you identify the gas comes out is an hydrogen gas? By, if you take a light a candle or a matchstick and show to the gas which is coming out, and you can hear a pop sound. Okay, that is how we can identify the gas comes out is the hydrogen gas. Okay, suppose in here it won't happen. Suppose if the gas coming out is an oxygen gas, how we can identify that? Yes, you can identify that. You can light a candle or a matchstick and keep it on the gas which is coming on that place. If the light or the candle burns even brighter, okay, that means the gas comes out is the oxygen gas, because you all know that oxygen is the supporter of combustion. And suppose the gas comes out is a carbon dioxide, Yes, of course, the candle put off. Okay, because dioxide is not a good uh, uh, combustible substance. They put off the burning candle. Okay, this is the activity. So what we are going to learn from that is acids, when it react with metal, they gives salt with hydrogen gas. Take an example. I have written one example equation here. Hydrochloric acid, and we put some zinc metal inside that. We get zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. Okay, let's write an example which is given here in our book. And here the acid which is given is H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. And they put zinc metal inside that. What happens? Zinc is positive, it's a metal, and here in sulfuric acid H plus ions, right? This is positive, H is always positive, and sulfate is the negative one. So obviously what happened? This positive will never accept another positive, so always they go and search for a negative. So what they do? Zinc combines with sulfate and it forms zinc sulfate. Always metal should be written on the first and non-metals on the next. And then what is remaining here? We have hydrogen. This is comes out as a gas, right? So and what is the product it formed? Salt with hydrogen gas. Salt is zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas is the main product, right? So what happens when an acid react with a metal? All the metals, when it react with acids, they gives out a salt and hydrogen gas. It is very important, and you can easily identify the hydrogen gas with a pop sound when you keep a lighter on a gas which is coming out. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. What happens when a base react with a metal? When a base react with a metal, they also gives salt with hydrogen gas. And one example I have written here, that is sodium hydroxide is the base, react with zinc metal, it gives sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas. It's one of the very important thing. And I want you to read this also, which is given in your book. Okay, the activity which is given in the page number 20, that is activity 2.4. I'm going to read that. You can just look at it. Place a few pieces of granulated zinc metals in the test tube. Add 2 ml of sodium hydroxide solution and warm the content of the test tube. Warming is different from boiling. Warming means just heating it, not boiling it. Boiling is you need to heat a lot. Okay, repeat the test of the steps as an activity 2.3 and record your observations. As we done before, the same you have to do it here also. The reaction that takes place here, which is written here, is sodium hydroxide react with zinc, produce sodium zincate and hydrogen gas. In other words, this is very important, you have to note down. You find again the hydrogen is formed in the reaction. So in base also we are getting hydrogen gas. However, such reactions are not possible with all metals. So these kind of reaction, you cannot say that all the metals react with the base to give always salt and hydrogen gas is not possible. Okay, that is what they are saying here. However, such reactions are not possible with all metals. Okay, are you all getting my point? Okay, we'll write one more example also for a base. Okay, let us write an example of our sodium hydroxide react with aluminum metal. So sodium hydroxide react with aluminum metal with little amount of water. So it gets the same kind of examples we're going to get here is we are going to get an aluminum zinc. So sodium aluminate plus hydrogen gas. Clear? So, and you need to balance this. So put 2 here in front, and also 2 for aluminium, and then 2 for sodium. Okay, that's it. So even in aluminium also they give sodium aluminate, but I can tell you that the same thing, you cannot say these kind of this, there is a lot of difference between this and this reactions. Clear? So H2O is there. So that is what I want to tell you, which is given in your book, how this such reactions are not possible with all metals. Okay students, today we learned what are the things we learned today. We learned on the summary of what we learned yesterday, and then acids we learned what are dilute and concentrated acid, weak acid, strong acids, organic acid, mineral acids, and some of the common acids that we know in our day-to-day life. And also base, we learned on base what are the concentrated, weak base, strong base, and weak base, and definitions of base, alkalis, how alkalis are different from base, right? And then some common bases that we know, and also how a metal and how an acid and a base react with metals. So what you should do tomorrow is to go through this video properly, and after going through this video, I want all of you to read from page number 17 from your book, page number 17 to page number 20 up to here. Read it carefully and go through all the activities also which is given in your book, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 and 2.4. And then if you have any doubt in that, please ask questions in the WhatsApp number. Right? Hope you all understand this topic, and in the next classes we are going to learn on how metals, metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids, and how metallic oxide react with acids and non-metallic acid with a base. Okay. So this whatever thing we learned today, you can write it down in your classwork also and submit it in my in my personal number. Okay student, thank you.